Hi, my name is Bibek Adhikari. I am your English instructor. In today's class, we are going to solve the reading portion of Unit 7, that is biography of Neil Armstrong from the Bright Post newspaper. So let's begin. We are now going to start the reading portion of Unit 7, that is journalism. And inside journalism, we are going to study about journal entry, or rather a newspaper report written by the Bright Post about the first man on the moon. And who's the first man on the moon? Pretty easy. He is Neil Armstrong. So we are going to study about Neil Armstrong in a news report. So this is not a biography thing, rather it is a news report, but we are going to study about whom? We are going to study about Neil Armstrong from the newspaper The Bright Post. So let's begin. The Bright Post. First man on the moon is no more. Sonia Limbu, Kathmandu, August 27. On Saturday, August 25, 2012, a true American astronaut lost his life at the age of 82. Neil Armstrong is recalled to have been the first person to bravely leave our world behind and set foot on another. So this is taken from grade 8 English book. We are heartbroken to share the news that Neil Armstrong has passed away from cardiovascular complications, Armstrong's family said in a statement. It is reported that Armstrong underwent heart surgery this month. While we mourn the loss of a very good man, we also celebrate his remarkable life and hope that it serves as an example to young people around the world to work hard, to make their dreams come true, to explore and push the limits, and to selflessly serve a cause greater than themselves, his family said. NASA reported that Armstrong commanded the Apollo 11 spacecraft that landed on the moon on July 20, 1969. His first words after setting foot on the moon are etched in history books and the memories of people. That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind, Armstrong said. It is reported that Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin spent nearly 3 hours walking on the lunar surface. They collected samples, conducted experiments, and took photographs. The sights were simply magnificent, beyond any visual experience that I had ever been exposed to, Armstrong once said. Armstrong was a modest and simple person. He never allowed himself to be caught up in the celebrity and glamour. He once said, "I am and ever will be an engineer, and I feel proud of my own profession." Armstrong was born on August 5, 1913 on a farm near Wapakoneta in the western Ohio, USA. He took his first airplane ride at the age of 6. He was fascinated with aviation, so he started to build model airplanes and conducted experiments in a homemade wind tunnel. As a boy, he worked at a pharmacy and took flying lessons. He was licensed to fly at 16 before he got his driver's license. He always paced ahead, not back. When you walk along the way under the full and bright moon, please wink your eyes at it in the name of Neil Armstrong, a bereaved family member expressed at his death. In most parts of the world, people held a minute silence in the memory of Neil Armstrong on Saturday. Goodbye, Neil Armstrong. You will always be in our hearts. That's how the biography ends. That's how the biography ends. Very good. So let us first start by learning what a news report is. So what is a news report? It's an article or a news written about someone or something in a newspaper. So it is an article or a news written about someone or something in a newspaper, right? That's what news report is. It is an article. Let us now understand the format of news report. That means how a news report is written. Now let us now understand that how is a newspaper report written. First of all, we need a headline followed by sometimes a tagline, but this is optional, so I'm keeping it inside square brackets. And then byline. What's a byline? Name of the person. Also dateline. Same line, we need date, and we need location, so it is also called location line. Dateline, byline, location line. Then we need the lead. What is a lead? The lead is the first paragraph of the news. And then we need the supporting paragraphs. The supporting paragraphs. And finally, we need the conclusion. So that is the general layout or the format of news report. We have a headline, then we need a tagline, byline, dateline, location line, followed by the lead, and finally the supporting paragraphs. So let's start from the headline. So how is a headline written? A headline should be short. Basically it should be short, it should be catchy, and generally it is an incomplete sentence. Or you can say it is simply a phrase. What is the phrase here? The Bright Post, that is the newspaper's name. First man on the moon, no more. So if you look at the example from the book, the sentence goes something like this. First man on the moon, no more. Is not necessary. We never write complete sentences. So this is how a headline should be written. So it is a long headline, by the way. First man on the moon, no more. Some headlines could be plane skids off TIA airport, and maybe bus mishap. Bus mishap kills 40. That could be a headline. So while writing headline, you must be careful that the headline should be short, it should be catchy, it should get the reader's attention, and generally it is an incomplete sentence, or in other words, it is a phrase. Another thing that we write after the headline is often called byline, or sometimes it is also called location line. Since the date is also given here, it is also often called dateline because date is also mentioned. If you look at the example from the book, byline goes like this. First of all, it needs your name. Let's say Sonia Limbu. Then it needs the location, Kathmandu. Then it needs the date. Date is August 27, that is given in your book. So this portion, Sonia Limbu, this is what we called a byline. Byline simply is your name. After that we need location. So this is what we called location line. Everything could be written in a single line, or sometimes even line spacings are used. And date is given here, so it is also called date line. So that is the second portion of a newspaper report. Now what we need is the lead. What we need now? We need the lead. Now what is a lead? The lead is the main paragraph or first paragraph. What is it? It is the first paragraph. It is the first paragraph. So it contains 5W 1H questions. Do you remember 5W 1H questions? 5W questions. Let's write all the 5W questions, starting from what, where, when, why, one more, which. Very good. And finally, how. So these are 5W 1H questions, and they are included in the lead. Right, lead is the first paragraph and everything should be answered. What should be answered? 5W 1H questions should be answered. And what are 5W 1H questions? What, where, when, why, and which, and how is also used. So these questions should be answered in the first paragraph. If you read the first paragraph that is given in the book once again, you would find something like on Saturday, August 25, 2012. So when is answered? A true American astronaut, who is answered? Correct? Who is also left? Who should also be answered? Lost his life at the age of 82. What is also answered? Neil Armstrong is recalled to have been the first person who. To bravely leave our world behind and set foot on another. So how is also, or maybe why is also answered. So everything should be answered. 5W1H. 5W1H questions should be answered. Now comes the supporting paragraphs. And in supporting paragraphs we need detailed information. So what do we need? We need detailed information. So we have already answered 5W1H questions, but that is not enough. Answering 5W1H questions is not enough. We need to elaborate them, explain them, and do stuffs like that. So will you please elaborate them? 5W1H. If you look at the sample from the book, you would find how these questions are elaborated. So if you go to the second paragraph, there is a dialogue, and in third paragraph, fourth paragraph also there are dialogues. So these, different paragraphs are what we call supporting paragraphs. Why are they called supporting paragraphs? Because they support the lead or the first paragraph. These supporting paragraphs, what do? They support the lead. What do? They support the lead. Correct. They support the lead. Now comes the final paragraph, which is also called additional information. And in this section we use dialogues, we use quotes, we quote various famous people, right? And what we do is we summarize in a way what has already been said. So we use a lot of dialogues, like this man said that, the principal said this, or maybe the police inspector said this. So a lot of different dialogues are used, and even quotes are used inside quotation marks. So dialogues between quotation marks, quotes between maybe single quotation marks are used, and finally we summarize. This is the unnecessary part, but if you do, it's good, because news reports are usually written in 3 paragraphs, so it's better if you summarize everything. So the given picture is the inverted pyramid. That means we follow this inverted pyramid structure while we write about news reports, right? Generally the rule is something like this. First paragraph is explained here, second here, and third paragraph is explained here. So this is the inverted pyramid rule. 5W1H questions, that is explained in the lead, and in the supporting paragraphs everything is elaborated, correct? And finally in the additional info we quote dialogues, we give extra information, so we need to write at least 3 paragraphs long news report. Now I'm going to give you some homework about the news report. Your homework is to write a news report, just like we studied about the death of a famous person, Neil Armstrong, right? Now I want you to write about the death of a famous person. That's your homework. What you need to do is you need to follow inverted pyramid structure. Remember the inverted pyramid structure? So yes, follow that inverted pyramid structure. At least write 3 paragraphs. First paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph. Write at least 3 paragraphs. With this, we have come to end of today's class. If you have any questions or suggestions regarding this video series, feel free to write us at learning@deerwalk.edu.np. Thank you.